What I've understood from the conversations that we had is that um, you learn how to deal with your emotions from a woman, right?
Yeah.
Are you able to go into that without mentioning names or anything?
Yeah, no, I can, if she was to see this, it would be very, I don't know, it's quite hard to talk about, like there's been, obviously I've slipped up on timings to have this meeting with you, and it's not that I've tried to avoid it at all. Like life genuinely has just been a real mess at the moment, trying to get stuff just back into stability. But yeah, so essentially I met someone and I genuinely thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with them. We were together 2 years, and it was, we were good. Most of the time, we really were good. It was so picture perfect on the outside, but when it went wrong, it went wrong. Like it was war between us. And, neither of us were physically abusive to one another. Emotionally, yeah, that's what happens in arguments. You say harmful things and you leave it on bad terms, but we always managed to come back to each other. And you know, the relationship was all about growth, all about, becoming better and doing better. And I'll explain it to you again, for the sake of the podcast, how I explained it to you when I first met you, which is when we met, this was the lady, she was about here and I was all the way down here. And I just started my journey, and she was about, 3 years into her journey. We met and I said, yeah, I'm committed to this. I really want to grow. I really, like a woman is the key to unlocking a man's journey. And, I really do believe that. I think, women are that key to a man being able to see himself, find himself, reach his potential. And I think it's all about, instead of men versus women, it should be men and women helping each other, collaborating, not compromising, collaborating.
Yeah.
Compromise is a lose-lose. Collaborating is a win-win, but you both lose a little bit, which is, I wish I'd understood that a bit sooner in hindsight, because
Yeah.
we all compromised and it left a lot of resentment and things. But it was a very long 2 years that also flew by at the same time. And when it ended abruptly like this. I put my hands up, I lost my temper, and I exploded, and hands flying, walls getting hit. It's abusive behavior. Obviously, I'd never laid a hand on her or anything like that, and I never would. But it scared her, and I had to take accountability for that. And because of that, I lost someone that really, although she wasn't the healthiest for me or herself, there was a lot that was not right with her, just as much as there was with me. Um, I learned a lot. I started going to therapy. I started my men's groups. I started opening myself up more and more, and trying to face these problems within myself. And she really, she created that space that allowed me to do that work and like hold myself. And I really learned to hold myself in that time.
How did she do that?
She mirrored me, and like she held me accountable, and we had a lot of difficult conversations and things. And that's where the majority of like the bad arguments came from, was from the real conflicting emotions of, I'm a man, and I'm going to feel it different to you because you're a woman. Like that's just how it is. But not to personally attack her, but there was no self accountability for her self victimizing mindset. It was almost like there were two personalities I was dealing with. It was this empowered, enlightened, spiritual woman, or it was this self victimizing, no self worth, just lazy.
Yeah.
I can't say any more without you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's
I'm
fine.
trying to stay nice because I don't hold resentment towards her.
Yeah.
I pity her, which is a real shame because, like I said, when we were met, she was here and I was here. And then as time went on, we did this, you know, it kind
Yeah.
of, we
Yeah.
both grew together. But then towards the end, it felt like I was here and she was here and she didn't want to go any further because I was at a point of, you know, like, I want to make this really official. I'm looking towards marriage and things like that. Like we were talking about like kids in the next couple of years and stuff. And looking back now in hindsight, I think she was scared, or maybe she knew that I wasn't the right one for her. Like, you know, like, and I'm okay with that. But, you know, that was the start of my journey being with that person. And then when it ended with that person, I still hold her in high respect, high regard. Like the time of my life with her was great, you know, although very difficult and very challenging and traumatizing to some degree. And that works both ways. You know, I was not perfect. But I'm not going to villainize myself or accept any villainization from anyone else because it was between me and her. Um, but in the last 6 months to a year since we split, you know, I found someone else and things are easier than ever. Um, and I have like a bigger, like a deeper level of like, when I get angry now, or if I get upset now, it's not, whoa, you're getting angry, you're getting upset, I need to leave you. My person now comes up to me and goes, I can see this is how you feel. What can I do to help you? How can I support you? And she'll stand with me. But if she doesn't have that energy to give herself, she will say, look, can we come back to this? I can't do this right now. Or can you hold yourself? I still love you. I still care about you. But like right now, I can't be that key for you. I can't hold that space for you. And that's fine. It's just been a very, I think I've done more development in the last year since leaving the person that really unlocked my journey
Mm.
than when I was with that person, because I look back at the behaviors and the irony of what I learned from that person. And the thing that makes me pity her is that, like I said about these two personalities that I saw at the time we were together, she could be completely different now. She could have grown, you know, she could be a new person now like myself. But in that time, it was very ironic for me that I had done everything she taught me for myself and kept going on this journey after we'd split up and kept growing and you know, kept doing my men's circles and like, you know, like that stallion, that horse, you keep going for that freedom. Like, yeah, that weight is there and that real big dark patch of my
Yeah.
soul is hooking
Mm.
me, but I'm still pushing because
I recognize that energy. Yeah, you were trying to make, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were trying to get yourself in a good place for her.
first it was for her. I really wanted her back, like for a long time. Yeah, like I did, mate. Like, you know, I thought we were soul bonded. I really did. Um, maybe we still are. Like, I don't know. I can't. I hoped for that for so long, and it's almost like hopelessly romantic, you know. And it's very hard not to like shame myself for that, and you know, feel guilty for it, especially like being with someone like a new person now. But the thing is I can talk to my new person about this and there's no shame, there's no guilt. She goes, that's fine. Like, if you feel that way, that's fine. Like, I'm here for you. Like, and do you know, like, that is so rewarding and relieving. And like, I feel more empowered with my person now than I ever have done beforehand, because I can go to her with something that I know might upset her or hurt her, but she puts that aside for the moment and goes, yeah, that does hurt me, but I can see where you're coming from. And then we talk about it on a separate conversation, and it's really healing. Um, but yeah, I look back now and I look back in with pity because, and I know that's very judgmental, but how is it that I could be shown so much, taught so much, and do so much, and then go and spread that to everyone else around me, and then that person can't do it for themselves, chooses not to do it for themselves, or pretends to do it for themselves, but then the behavior that is being seen now is of someone that is not.
Yeah, well, let me help you understand that.
Please,
Because
yeah,
you
because it is
mentioned
definitely
words.
something I struggle to comprehend at the moment, 100%.
I can see it's very hurtful for you. Yeah, I can see that
Mm,
it's a wound for you. And the trigger word there is pity. It's a really strong negative word because it
yeah,
it it lacks compassion,
yeah,
right? But that pity is triggered by how she's treated you. And
mm,
pity comes from, it's like a form of covert narcissism.
okay.
They convince you that they have become the victim because of your own behavior. Do you understand?
So I'm convinced that they are a victim of my behavior.
Yeah, that it's your fault. She's trying to turn herself into a victim because she blames you.
Yeah, and that rings true because
Yeah,
although I don't have contact with this person, I still have friends that
yeah,
I knew at the time, and all I'm hearing now, a year later, is that I'm a narcissist, I'm an abuser, and
yeah. That's
and
okay.
I'm having my character deformed, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
very hard to move past and ignore.
yeah. And what you have to accept is that it's true and not true. So let me see if I can guide you into the compassion. So let's just go back to the covert narcissism. So the victim energy, which produces this pity,
Mhm.
it will come from her lack of a healthy father figure, right? And
Which explains a lot, yeah. The
yeah,
father figure was not very present emotionally. He was there physically, but not present emotionally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so it's all of these energies which are sent outwards, like these accusations, these judgments of narcissism. They are mirrors of her own behavior. So if she's calling you a narcissist, that means she's being narcissistic. But it doesn't mean to
Yeah.
say that you haven't exhibited that behavior as well. And
I
that's
can
okay
admit
because
that I
everybody
have been.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does because we get triggered by truth, and those truths open up part of our heart. And we go, whoa, whoa, I'm not ready to go there. And there's like this explosion, this reaction
Yeah.
comes out. Like you spoke about punching the wall. That's happened to me a few times, and I've had some really, really toxic relationships with women. And but my previous one was very, very healing, and it was so healing that it happened during my journey of the beginning of my uh, psychotherapy journey, and also beginning of my spiritual journey while I was with
Yeah.
her. And like you said, she was like all the way up here, and I was like down here, and I kind of
Mm.
quantum leaped over a few years, and she wanted to remain comfortable there,
Yeah. Complacent.
but she 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 had from all the women I've met in my life, bar except the one I'm currently with, my lifetime partner, she she was the most balanced woman
Mm.
that I'd ever been with, balanced emotionally, because she had found this way of uh like an internal like self-worth, if that makes sense, or
Yeah.
saying, well, I don't believe that about me, and casting it aside, which was kind of really healthy. And it took
Mm.
me to a place of confronting my narcissism, like I spoke to you earlier about the psychotherapist. And we
Yeah.
were on holiday one time, and I got triggered into an event, and I felt like a caged animal. Like
Yeah.
like when they try
You
to
can't escape.
capture a wounded animal in the wild and they have to dart it. She came
Yeah.
into the room and there was a wall behind me, and I was shaking and everything,
Yeah.
and I hit my head. I was walking back. She was walking towards me just like with her hands up saying it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
But she stood in front of the door, so I didn't have a way out. And this fear part of process of my being took over, and I walked backwards and I hit my head on the wall, and I thought someone had hit me. And so I turned round just automatically and I punched. Like I was punching someone, and I hit the wall and I nearly broke my hand.
Yeah.
And she moved out the way, and I ran out, and I was in the middle of a strange country. I was in Mallorca, and I just legged it for about, I don't know, 500 meters, and I just burst into tears on the road
Mm.
in this gravel,
Yeah.
and I felt so much shame come out of me of how I'd behaved. And
Yeah.
I was crying and I was sat there for about an hour, so ashamed. I didn't want to go back to confront her.
Yeah.
And I and
Yeah.
I and I went back and I built up this huge courage to say, I'm sorry.
And you can't get the words out, can you? Yeah.
But I did,
Oh,
yeah.
fair play to you, mate. Fair
Yeah.
play to you. You're a better man than me.
Yeah. And I said sorry. And instead of, in the past, instead of being toxic and saying, "Oh, well, yeah, you should be sorry, and you did this and this, and what about this?" She just said, "It's okay. I love you." And she held me, and I cried for about half an hour in her
Yeah. See,
arms.
I've only experienced and seen that behavior with my person now,
Yeah, and
and
it's so
I think
healing, so healing.
I think that's what I'm because like I talk to my partner now about my previous and like when we go through things like this, it's very triggering from the past, and like I experienced that with my person now only a week ago. Like, it was only a week ago I lost my shit and she just held me and she was like, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and make you feel worse. Yes, that behavior is not okay, but like, I'm here to support you, not make you feel even worse for something that I know that you clearly feel bad for. Whereas
Yeah,
previously, when I'd lost my temper or like exhibited those behaviors because of how I felt, there was just no understanding at all. It was all about how she felt, all about how it made her feel, and
yeah.
there was no compassion.
But
So,
but we haven't been taught how to do this. So there's compassion for both sides. I don't, you
mm,
know, I didn't, even in the bad relationships I had in terrible relationships where I was completely screwed over, I don't blame them. Because I understand where it came from. Yeah, they made really poor choices, and I don't condone their behavior, and I certainly don't talk to them anymore. But the this this energy of healing and this working together that you're talking about, it's really profound, because when I met my current partner now, who's
yeah,
just incredible, I came in this level like this, and she's like off the charts,
yeah, yeah,
off the charts. I was like, whoa, how am I gonna get there?
yeah,
But she taught me the way of the deep feminine. And the deep feminine teaches you to sit in the pain.
yeah,
And I can tell you, it's taken me years to master because it's so difficult.
mm,
Men come from up high, and women come from the deep, right? The deep. And we've become so separated from the feminine, like men go up and women go down, that when we come down to go deeper into our emotions, we're like, whoa, whoa, no, I'm going back up. Right. And going up is great sometimes, you're high, there's joy, there's fun, but there's also, like, also in the deep, there's a sense of avoidance of going deeper into your heart, right?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
And so what happened is, we talk about the feminine unlocking the masculine. It goes
Mm.
both ways.
Yeah,
I can
100%.
I can see how your process with your ex-partner stopped, right? Because there is a process of accountability, like you're talking about. And when I managed to finally get up to her level, we started going like this, like climbing the ladder, right? And but what happened is that we never met each other at the same time. But as we started climbing, the steps got closer to each other, and we become closer
Yeah,
and closer to being on the exact same
on
level.
the same level. That's what I find with my new partner now. Like,
Yeah,
although it's very fresh and very new, that's what I'm seeing is
yeah,
those steps are becoming closer and closer together.
yeah. But it has to happen. It's like a seesaw. You have to, when she holds you, you then have to hold her.